Some of us need to go and delete some numbers out of our phones. Not tomorrow. I can hear nobody pray. Tonight. Y'all better hear what I'm saying. And not too late tonight. Hello, somebody. Some of us need to delete some numbers. And somebody better hit me in the Holy Ghost. Delete some numbers. Here he was. Hearing voices. And I bet at least 2,000 of them demons will sit there telling them, Joker, run. Whatever you do, come on y'all, demons ain't crazy. Can you hear the demons talk? Whatever you do, crazy. Don't get closer to Jesus. Why would these demons say this? Because you see, these demons are found in Revelation, the 19th chapter. The Bible says, and war broke out in heaven, and there was a great dragon, the symbolic form of Satan, of Lucifer himself. And the Bible says he said he could be like God. Chapter 12, Revelation, excuse me. God didn't get up off his throne, but he called the archangel Michael and evicted Satan out of heaven. Jesus said in Luke, like lightning, I saw him fall out of the heavens. But the Bible says in Revelation, before the great dragon fell, young people hear me, with a swoop of his tail, he gathered 1/3 of the stars. What are these stars? These stars are angels in a fallen state. These are angels. But you deep people that believe in angels and don't believe in demons, you crazy. Because a demon ain't nothing but a fallen angel. But young people, you got to be careful, because you see, when that dragon fell, he gathered 1/3 of the stars. In other words, you better be careful who you're hanging out with. Because all your girls ain't your girls. Everybody that you brought is not on your same page. If they go down in your, brother, you going down. I didn't hear nobody pray. If you get caught, can you hear what these demons are saying? Now wait a minute. We know it's Jesus. We know what he's capable of doing. That's what he was doing crazy. Because the demons understood he had power. This wasn't no fly-by-night prophet. This was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This was the God of all creation. This was God incarnate, and here he comes. Watch this. He calls them out, calls them, come out of him. Spirit. They ran into pigs, so it's okay he broke y'all. But watch this. All the pigs died that night. Somebody else said, come on. Amen. But here's somebody say moderation, 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 moderation. It's not pork that I keep, but it's pork in the morning, pork for lunch, pork for dinner, and chicken and we small snack. Can y'all give me 10 more minutes and I'll bring this every day? Here he is. He was known as the town lunatic. He was known as a crazy man. How do you know he was known? The Bible says because often they came. They came to keep him bound. Shackles, fetters. They came to keep him in bondage. Keep him. But crazy don't like to be locked down. Right. So he got out. He was so strong now. So strong now. So strong now. So strong now that nobody could tame him. But here comes Jesus. Mothers, stop telling folk you can't control your children. You are giving them spiritual steroids because they become big and invincible. How is it that older mothers, older sons, could stand up to 300-pound, 6'4" sons and back them down in the corner and say, "What?" Come on and get somebody. Because they had some power. Yeah. Jesus calls them out. Watch this, y'all. Let me conclude this. The people hear about it. They come from their confidence. And they see him. Watch this church. And instead of them celebrating God, instead of them getting excited, they have me. Don't let me laugh. Bible says they went back and told them about, okay, you're crazy, he's not crazy no more, but that Jesus fella killed a whole herd of swine. Come on, look at the focal point, y'all. That was money that went over the hill. Church, hear me real good. It takes money to do ministry. But don't ever be so consumed with making budget that you miss God in the building. I know somebody don't want to hear that. Don't be so concerned, preachers, with your offering that you don't hear what God says here. Give me $1 or 1,000, I don't care. If the Spirit is speaking to me and it has to cut, let it cut. Y'all better hear what I'm saying. That's good, sir. That's good. They got mad about the money. They weren't concerned about him. That's right. But in the church it's like that. It costs money to look good, doesn't it? It costs money to be dressed down on Sunday morning. But see, you're more concerned about a prostitute who just got converted and can't afford anything lower than them. And when she comes to church, and instead of you buying her something, you sit there and look at her, call somebody, and she goes right back out and finds her a They go away. The Bible says now here is crazy. Sitting, clothed, and in his right mind. Tap your neighbor, say neighbor. It's preaching time. Here he was. He was, before running around in the tombs crazy, cutting himself, there was a time lapse that we don't see. Although we see one verse to another, there was a transition, y'all. There was something that happened because he didn't just magically get clothed. He didn't magically get washed up. But see, there was a time change. Tap your neighbor and say, neighbor, you weren't there, so you don't know when the change occurred. But just know that God changed me. Is there anybody in here that's glad that there was a time lapse in your life? That there were some people that remembered you back when, but there was a time lapse. And in the meanwhile, God changed you from high school to where you are right now. God allowed a time lapse so you can get washed up and get yourself together. You want to hit your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm glad. I'm so glad I got it together. And he